braking ride that just won't wait. My spurs are turning and my hat's on tight. If I hang on, girl, we'll be dancing tonight. Well, you can tell by the way that I walk, I'm a little bow-legged, my mouth's full of jaw. Legs are shaky and my knees are weak. Dust me off, I'll try again next week. Rodeo is what I do. If I hang on tight and make a buck or two, it's what I do. Let's ride.
Good evening and welcome to the legendary Gold Coast Hotel and Casino and National Finals tonight. Brought to you in part by Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, Devil's Cut, Pinnacle Vodka, Coors, 14 Hands Vineyards, Cooper Tires, Ram Rodeo, Justin Boots, National Cowboy Museum, The Range 702, Golden Tiger Liniment, Wrangler, Montana Silversmiths, Resist All Hats, Pepsi, and Boyd Gaming. National Finals tonight with 8-time World Champion Bull Rider Donnie Gay, 8-time World Champion Cowboy Joe Beaver, and the man and women of the NFR. Sit back, relax, and enjoy National Finals tonight. And now, here's your host, award-winning television personality, Mr. Dan Miller.
Welcome. Boy, what a good-looking crowd this is, huh? Especially down close. Welcome to National Finals tonight. Season number 7 gets underway this evening. How many went to the rodeo tonight? How many were out? Wasn't it great? Just great. We're so glad to have you here on this nice, warm desert day in Las Vegas. Everything's relative. I live in Wyoming, and this morning it was 22 below at my house, so it's this is pretty darn balmy out there, isn't it, huh? Are you ready this evening? Gosh, we've got great prizes to give away. We're glad you're with us on this first night, and let's just get right to it, shall we? Let's get our 2 stars coming out here. The first guy, neither of these guys is a stranger to any of you. The first guy is an 8-time world champion bull rider, my best buddy. I've worked with him for 27 years. Donnie Gay is here this evening. Donnie. Yeah.
It's Las Vegas. On the day I was born,
I've got to brag on Donnie before he does on himself, so I'm going to do it quick here. Look at you now. How much weight have you lost? You look at you.
12.
12 pounds.
9 more.
9 more. Then you're going to pick up a bull rope again, or?
Well, if the price is right, you know.
All right. Boy, you just look good. Really good, huh? Nothing to say.
What
to
do you
that.
want?
No. Nothing to say to that. Let's get out our other co-host out here. He also is an 8-time world champion cowboy. They don't make better guys than this, whether it's charity or rodeo or young people. He's involved. Donnie Gay. This is 8-time world champion Joe Beaver is here this evening. Joseph, come on out here.
Big Joe.
Yeah.
If the price is right, I heard that.
Yeah.
See, the price would probably be okay to a normal person, but he thinks his pound for price is higher than most people. So if he does happen to crack that rope out, he done made a hell of a lot of money. I'm going to tell you that.
It's good to have you both here this evening. Wasn't it a great first round? Just
They
outstanding
rode a lot of
rodeo.
bulls. They had some fast times. There wasn't any real wrecks. It was a good round.
It was good. And let me tell you, just if you're here in the audience tonight and you'd like to participate in the show and text a question to us, you can do it during the show. And here's the number that you dial. It's 702-582-5638.
They're going to do what?
They can text that to us. And hopefully you can spell better than Donnie. But text us your questions up here, 702-LUCK-NFT. Now, this is the other thing.
Text, not twerk. Okay.
This is the other thing here on, if you would like to go and watch the show, we're going out on the YouTube channel. You go to Boyd Gaming Rodeo. So if you'd like to call somebody back home.
You know Donnie wants to say World Wide Web.
You go, yeah. He's so far behind. So those are the things if you want to be involved with the show. Also, when we're done with the program itself, we have great prizes to give away, including this Fender guitar back here that's signed by George Strait. So if you haven't entered that raffle, we have jeans to give away. We have shirts and coats and jewelry, and it's really wonderful gifts coming up, and we'll do that right after the show, so stay where you're at, and we will do that. I wanted to do this with you guys before we got any farther. Donnie's first time to the National Finals Rodeo was in 1973. 1972. 85 over here for Joe. I want to talk about money. Donnie, what did it pay,
Or the lack of.
what did it pay to win a round back there in the 1972? What did it pay to win a round?
$492 for first.
$492. Joe, in 1985, do you remember what it paid to win a round?
Say 7,000, 6,800 or something.
8,500. That was your first year was my last year.
This year, to win a round, it pays $18,629.
I feel some more crunches coming up.
Now you see that, I'd pay a lot of money to see. Oh, especially with your hat off. It's just things have changed over the years, haven't they? The money has just gotten, this year, over $6 million in prize money, and it's just.
Yeah, but it has a little bit of relativity.
It does.
You know, back in the day, $490 go-round, that wasn't a lot. The next year, heck, we thought Christmas had come early because they went from $492 to $690 the very next year, and that very next year, a brand new Cadillac cost $5,500. Now they cost $85,000. So.
And the fuel is a little bit different now too.
Yeah,
Everything
27
goes up.
cents a gallon.
I want to tell you what I had the honor to do on Monday night of this
serious?
week. What did he say?
Yeah.
What did he say?
27 cents a gallon.
That's right. Yeah.
They
I
used to
wasn't
have
there, but he
gas.
told me about
They
it.
had gas wars in Mesquite, Texas. I mean,
For
you know,
27
if you
cents a gallon?
circle the block, you could get it for 25 if you pulled in quick enough.
Wonder what kind of vehicles those were.
No, that was, 20. On Monday night this week, I had the honor to go to the 6th annual Wrangler Gold Buckle Gala, depending where you're from. Donnie Gay, Donnie Gala. Donnie this year was the honoree.
That wasn't on the script.
I have to wipe my Donnie was the honoree this year for the 2013 Legend of Pro Rodeo. Legend of Pro Rodeo. This was the brochure there that they had. It was, and Donnie, this benefits the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame, correct?
Right, yeah.
And the honorees before have been Larry Mahan has won that, and
Sean Davis, Dean Oliver, yeah.
And so Donnie was honored there. His beautiful wife Terry, who is right down front here, was there with us the other night. And just talk about, you've won so many awards, as has, Donnie 13 times the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Joe 22 qualifications. These guys know of what they speak. But talk just a second about that award the other night.
Well, it was one of the awards, maybe one of the only awards that I've actually received that, I had time to think about it. I've had enough birthdays to not be traveling quite so fast and going to so many. When I was rodeoing, I'd go to 160 rodeos a year, getting on, and I've been everywhere you can be in the United States and Canada. But I never really saw anything but the inside of the rodeo arena. Same guys. So you really didn't really see anything. To go out and go fishing or, whatever you do. I've rodeoed my entire life. And so this particular award, that kind of rang home true. And I'm thinking, it's really kind of a big deal, and I'm thinking, wow. And then some of my friends go, yeah, he's a legend in his own mind, and so I'm thinking, oh, well. But
it was a big honor. It was nice.
It really was.
Yeah,
It was
I'm
nice.
going to say something because
was
even though he
nice.
is a legend in his own mind, a lot of times he won't say what he needs to be said. You don't get to that point in your career, nor do you get awards like that being a nobody or being somebody that hasn't done something for the sport of rodeo. And this guy right here, y'all, he's done a lot for the sport of rodeo. He's brought it from a bottom level to a top level.
I agree. Yep. I agree. with
You know,
that.
and I tried to articulate that whenever I was talking, but it's really hard when there's some emotion there, but to be able to, I told everybody that, you know, in the 70s and 80s, you know, I was king in Oklahoma City, I thought. And when it came out here to Las Vegas, this was a big-time stage to put professional rodeo on, and Las Vegas has really done us proud over the years. From 1985, the go-rounds paid $8,500. The last year in Oklahoma City, my last world title, the go-rounds paid $4,500, and now they pay, you know, what, $18,000, you know, per go-round. And, you know, they've got a new building in the offing, and, you know, so I appreciate the fact that we in professional rodeo were afforded a national stage that puts us in position to be able to be around the same quality of athletes that you see on television, on national television.
And that's why 200,000 people come to Las Vegas for the National Finals Rodeo. So, gentlemen, how many of you, did any of you watch it on television tonight, or most of you were there? In case you missed it, Donnie and Joe are doing the live call on GAC, Great American Country Network. And what we have done here, we've put together a little highlight reel of the first round action, and these guys are going to do it for you live, just in case you missed it. Donnie, let's start with the bareback riding from round number 1. Roll it, guys.
All right, Caleb Bennett comes in here, and he's got a horse called Wise Guy. This horse, the last time you'll ever see this horse in competition, belongs to Classic Pro Rodeo. This horse has always had this signature stall out and jump and kick in one spot. Caleb Bennett makes a great bareback ride, 85.5. That's the number 1 place in go round number 1, but it's a long
They
way.
have won a lot of money on that horse.
Absolute great
horse. Great horse.
Over 25 years old.
Last time we'll see him?
Last time we see him, he got retired right there. Scotty Lovelace sold his rodeo company to Pete Carr.
Yep.
This was their signature bucking horse right there. Scotty Lovelace, a lot of people don't know it. He rode bareback horses
Rode
about
him
that good,
Yes,
too.
he did. Steer wrestling, Trevor Knowles. This is his best chance to win a world championship. No 3-second runs tonight until he strikes. The first man to strike after the gold buckle, he puts his foot in the door and says this is going to happen. He's on the best horse here. That's Jesse. They won $1 million on him and Gunner. He took the lead tonight. He's in the mark.
1/10 of a second
Off the arena
record right
One
here.
of the best steers on him, used him, showed he's here to win a world championship, but not even close to being over. In the team roping, this is the biggest, strongest set of steers they've roped in 10 years. You see a horse that has to pull. The heelers, when they rope and dally, if you run some rope back there, you're going to lose digits this week. The main thing I liked about this run, it was control. Riley Minor gets a swing over the chute, and he still reaches, but these steers are bigger horns. They weigh 100 pounds more.
Look good.
This is the sign of the new times right there. That's old school loop with new times. 4-6 wins the go around. The team rope is going to be a different event this year.
All right, in the saddle bronc riding, the Wright brothers. We're going to watch Jake Wright win him a go-around tonight. You know, they need a tractor trailer, you know, to be able to haul all the gold buckles back to where they all live. These guys, Wiggle Worm, just a nice bronc, a little bit uneven. The bucking horses that they had out tonight in the bronc riding, they're not really eliminators, but they're not real smooth. They weren't that pretty thing that you like to watch in a lot. But what I like, watch Jake Wright spur this bronc. Whenever you get your legs straight out, you're giving that horse a chance to buck you off. These guys are cowboys. 84 points, first place tonight.
In the tie-down roping, you think your partner doesn't mean something? This is Riata. Shane Henschke started roping on his horse when he was 16 years old. Great set of calves. Here's the difference. He turns him around. The guys tonight were not standing the calves up. They were getting off too fast, jerking them down. If you got to get them up, it takes time. This horse hadn't had a calf run on him in 8 months. Till last week he ran 1 practice calf. He's been hurt. Josh Harvey down there worked on him, got him back in shape. This is the first calf he's running in competition. 7-6 wins a go-around. He'd put that horse in a suite if he could.
I'm telling you, talk about this barrel racer. One of our,
We
gotta
say it
be
every
our
year.
favorite.
We
Yeah.
say it every year. A jockey. You have to have a horse, but guess what? You got to have a jockey. 15th on the ground wins around.
Sherry Servey and this little Palomina, she rides so good, keeps her hands where they need to be. 1377, just smoked them. And the bull riding, I've been saying all week, I think the bull riding is going to be tougher this year than it has been in 6 or 7 years. Shane Proctor, 2011 champ of the world, just riding this bull away from his hand, back into his hand, shook him loose right there at the end. He really had to hustle up. That's why he won the go-round. I thought Chandler Bound should have won the go-round. Now, but they won't let me judge. Dadgummit. But you know what? This guy does a nice job. Everything working like you want to. Proctor, whenever he's just riding bulls, he's not thinking about anything else. That's as good a cowboy as in Las Vegas this week.
And they rode more tonight than they rode sometimes in 3 rounds. It's going to be good.
Y'all are going to enjoy the bull riding this year.
Round 1, give them a hand. Good job, guys. Nicely done.
Oh, but there's Rex.
There are. As Donnie just alluded to, there were some wrecks here this evening. It didn't go that well for everybody that you saw in the highlight round this evening. So the bumps and bruises really started early this year, and it's a short reel, Donnie, but let's start it with the saddle bronc riding and Chet Johnson on Hermit.
These horses, we talked about them not being pretty. I mean, you know, Chet Johnson, this guy's got gold buckle bronc rider, and here it, well, no, we got another advertisement.
No, but that's a good pose for you. Stand just like that.
Go ahead and sell it.
Yeah.
There's Devil's Cut. That's you, boy.
You can tell it's a rough night when we've got saddle bronc riding and bull riding. Roll them. There we go, guys.
Here we go.
All right. Well, Chet Johnson, this horse right here, watch the right foot. Blows him up out of his saddle, and this horse falls down. He's on top. This could have been a bad wreck. And I'm sitting there. I have to watch it back 3 times.
Now watch, he gets over the chute.
Check the horse's back leg, but you see his foot almost goes through that number 2 slat, jerks him out of that saddle. And, buddy, you talk about a rude awakening. But look at that horse. I mean, the horse could have got hurt. The cowboy could have got hurt. But this is the best part about rodeo. Most of the time, the bad wrecks, they look bad.
They're not bad.
But they're just fun.
That's right.
Well, they're fun. Everything's relative. We've already talked about that. Cole Eckel, here's a guy that can team rope as good as anybody. Check this out. You want to get a bruise on your arm? Do that.
Huh?
Yeah. That'll make you look under there and think, oh my God, what is that? There's muscles hurting that I didn't know I had. But gets a re-ride, and this is his re-ride. He goes down in the well, gets punched in the belly, hit in the head, knocked down. Bullfighter's doing a great job. Watch this. He just overrides. Here's a cowboy that is really trying to ride. Gets that bull around the neck, gets his position. He says, okay, that's a little love tap. Now this next one, this will knock some snot bubbles out of you right here. Whack. Yeah. You want to be a bull rider?
He's going to be sore on both sides tomorrow.
Yeah. They may have to pay a little more.
Good job, gentlemen. I tell you, we've got a great night of guests here, and so let's just get to. Yeah, you can give them a hand.
You know
Very
what
nice
that?
job.
You know what that bull's name was?
Yes.
Stiff Drink. What? You need one after that.
Donnie, before we go on, I mentioned your wife right down on the front here. Introduce your lovely wife right here on the front.
Only reason I got 2 nickels to rub together, y'all. How about a round of applause? This woman has some treasures stored up in heaven, I'm telling you. Terry Gay, I've been married to her for 36 years right there. She's not going to stand up, and we can't make her.
I've seen that look before. We're moving on. Right next to her, my daughter and her husband are here from Wyoming. My oldest daughter, Sarah, and her husband, Eric, state trooper up there. And,
and
good
Sarah's
to have
done.
him here.
Sarah,
he just threw that out there for him, didn't he, huh?
Sarah has done something and witnessed something that most people in the world haven't seen and never will see.
And?
Me on a pair of snow skis.
Oh, beautiful.
Did you happen to have that costume on? The little Lord Farnham. If you had that on, I want that picture.
No, but not many people ski in Carhartts, and Donnie, by golly, was out there. It was a beautiful look for him. Let's get our first guest out here. This gentleman has... he's now a 4-time world champion. We didn't get to tell him that last year because on the last night he was over getting all the riches that he deserved. And he's here tonight with a special guest. We're honored to have 4-time world champion, still wrestler, and his son Cade. Here is Luke Branquinho. Luke.
Big Luke and a boy gaming ambassador.
Over there with him there. You go right over there.
You're big enough to take Donnie's, take his.
Maybe his legs will touch the ground.
Cade, you can have my chair, buddy.
In about another year and a half, he'll just take it.
He'll just take it. Yeah.
You know, a couple years ago, he wouldn't have been so shy. He's seen girls out here, I think.
It's those bright lights, Daddy.
It could have had something to do with your first run tonight.
I was a little embarrassed to come out here.
Well,
he's going, my daddy really can bulldog.
First of all, congratulations. The
Thank you.
4-time world champion, and it's just awesome. Yep.
Yeah, we did miss that last year. That was good.
Thank
Yep.
you guys. It's an honor to be up here with you guys. Be able to be up here with my family and be out here with the fans. We don't get to do this at a lot of rodeos we go to, and I'm proud to be able to be out here and be with you guys.
And also, we should say last year that you won 4 rounds, and that brought you up to 21 rounds that you have won in the steer wrestling, which is also a record for Luke Branquinho.
And every time he's done that, he gets around there and shakes his butt.
Not every time. That started in 04.
But 22 times, I mean, the guy's going to need a chiropractor.
The more the merrier.
If you win, a man told me this one time, if you win first, you can get away with anything. If you win third, they think you're an idiot. So
Very true.
winning first, they just think that's the greatest thing they've ever seen.
Very true. And what's funny about that? You said 21. When I started rodeo and I said I wanted to average 2 go-around wins a year, and I need to win 3 this year to average 2 for my 12 years. So I got some work to do.
That's an easy deal. You got 9 steers left. I would almost bet, not that I'm a gambling man, of course, but I would almost bet that if you run 9 steers in here for you, and you're going to, out of 9, you're going to have 5 good chances. And out of 5 good chances, you're going to win a third, at least 2/3 of that. That's 3 go-arounds. The difference is you and I'm not going to say the field as it is, because there's a lot of good guys, good bulldoggers in there. But have you ever been in this far back?
No, this is the first year. I think the lowest I came when it was 11th one year.
See, and that's what I said on the telecast tonight. I said, the thing that makes Luke so dangerous this week is you're not protecting or defending a lead. You're chasing them, and you're after them. So there's no decision-making about it. You know what you're going to do every night anyways, try to win. But you don't have anything to defend or protect, so that lets you kind of let yourself go, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and everybody roots for an underdog every now and again, I guess. So I thought if I came in low this year, I'd be the underdog. So.
Oh,
Underdog, my
crap.
rear end.
Yeah, and he don't want to come in down anyway. He's greedy, but it takes greedy to win buckles.
A question, and somebody had asked me this: how many different sets of steers are at this rodeo? In other words, how many pins, different that you get to run? Because they'll bring them back throughout the week, and so how many do you prepare for?
We have 3 pins of steers, and the pin we run tonight we'll run 4 times. We'll run them in the 10th round also, and then this was actually the good pin of steers.
Tonight steers go in the 10th go.
They'll go 1, 4, 7, 10.
And we talked about this earlier. There's about 4 steers that a man wants to have before that 10th round. There's a couple steers that are going to stop. They let up tonight. There's a couple steers that had some pretty big, strong guys on their head and tried to tuck their nose and go down the arena. There's a couple that want to go in behind the hazer, and all that factors into the catching ability and placing. And when you put that in that 10th go-around, they go the last time. If the chips fall right or wrong, it helps or hurts you to win a championship.
What's it do whenever a guy's out there and like Trevor 3-1? What's that do to the mindset of everybody? Does that change anything, or has everybody got their game plan on what they have drawn?
I wish you'd have done that before I went, because it just fires me up. A lot of guys, they look at it thinking, oh, now I got to go beat Trevor and be 3-1. It just fires me up, go do my job better than I was planning on doing before. Just go out there and try to get a good start and throw them down fast. And
same way in the bull riding, when that first guy makes the whistle, then everybody else it just seems to have a mental pickup.
That's why, and you might have been too young, I don't know, the first time you met it or so, but used to in the timed events, if you were winning, you went last. And that's what I said all along. You let a guy like Luke Branquinho go last every night, which he ought to if he wins more than everybody else. And you let those guys do all they can do to make them fast runs, all that does is build it up in you, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. A guy goes out there, and it's happened to me several times. One year Lee Graves was 3-3. I was last to go, and it fired me up. I had a good steer, and I was 3-2. I think it just helps build the momentum going into your run.
Let's talk a little bit, and Kate doesn't have to watch, but let's talk about the run tonight that you had. And
Do I have to watch?
Yeah, let's. I think we've got it ready back there, and take a look, and you guys can talk about
You seen it?
what
Okay,
what
you
happened
watch it
in this
because
run.
I talked to Luke about it earlier.
What
right
did
where I
you
was
say
standing.
on television? I didn't get to hear it.
The Hazen horse was about half locked up, or in other words, he wasn't in the corner and he was real locked in the bit. And Les was saying something, but watch when he leaves here. See how he's got to reach way over there, and that steer's wanting out behind him, just like we said. Yeah, that's all you could do. Your feet were behind you, but you couldn't help that.
We actually had this pin of steers at the house. They come from Flying U Rodeo and Twisselman's, and this steer, every time you'd run him, he'd always step into the hazer and try to get out behind the haze horse. So I knew he was off over there to the right. If I rode up any further, he was liable to get out behind Les, and I wasn't going to be able to get him caught. So
Do you talk to your hazer prior to backing in there and saying, hey, don't be asleep and let this steer get
This
back
guy's
by you?
hazed two
What do
gold
you
buckles,
tell? What
right?
do you tell him?
I don't tell Les much. He's hazed for 2 gold buckles for me. He knows what he's supposed to do, and it's just one of those deals. I actually started this year off better than I did last year. I rode by one, so it's a plus. It's a win already
and
for
after
this year.
you get to watch it, you see what I mean by there was a choice to make right there, I thought. And in the replay, you can see, that steer, Les is a little bit behind, late, however you want to call it. So if you don't catch him right there, what people don't understand a lot about, it's the G-force of the steer. They're big, they're strong, and you're trying to catch one, and he jumps that way behind. All you get is a left horn. You miss another one maybe. So I thought it was a good move.
Yeah, when 220 pounds are going at him, it's you kind of got to get a hold of him as much as you can. 220
Okay,
pounds.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it. I don't know how much money I can put on that, but I'll buy it.
Okay, 275. I'm not going any higher.
Okay, I'll take that.
Talk about the horse that you're riding, that you rode tonight, and then let's talk about the horse, Jesse, that Trevor was riding tonight, correct?
Gunner, I think everybody knows Gunner.
Yep.
He comes from Montana. Jesse Peterson sends him down to the house. He's an amazing athlete. If you went to the stalls and looked at him, his back swayed and it holds water, literally holds water when it rains on him. You have to wipe the water out or he'll get, yeah. And his knees are big, but this horse loves what he does. I've rode him. I rode him in 04, 06, 07.
Back holds
Yeah.
water, knees are
Anyways,
big.
this is
But
You call him
everybody still
Donnie
wants to ride
sometimes?
him.
Call him Donnie?
the way he walks around. Sometimes we say, "Hey, Donnie, come on." But he loves this building, and I've won. I think I've won over 500,000 on him alone in this building, and he just works great. And Les, as far as hazing for him, has probably done the best job hazing for him since I've had him out here, and he knows how the horse works.
And the thing about these two horses, very seldom people do horses keep running in this building. It's short, and those big Preford yellow bucking shoots, they'll run for maybe a year out here, maybe 2 years. But honest to goodness, besides Scooter, Yellow Dog, Gunner, and Jesse, I don't know of many that have been here that keep running and keep getting those guys' feet on the ground like those two horses.
Yeah, Jesse's been here a long time, and he does his job great every time. And just like Gunner, they're old veterans, just like any of these guys out in the arena, and they know what they're supposed to do. And by the way, technology's really kicking my butt. He just asked if he could play on my phone.
Aha. I think that you should introduce this young gentleman. There's another younger version of him at home as well tonight, but introduce this young man.
Yeah, this is my oldest Cade. He's 5. What's your favorite rodeo event? I hate to say it because Donnie's here, but bull riding's his favorite event right now.
Yeah.
Hey, what else one thing we need to remind people, because there's a lot of kids that come to my schools and stuff now, that have problems with diabetes.
Well, give him the damn phone.
This guy right here, people, has had a pump for this 3 years? Oh, longer than that. Time flies. He's had it since 04. When I was right at the end of my career, when he was going into Stump Bunch, he was having trouble with diabetes. It was up and down. It was all around. But this goes to show you that anything can be beaten. First mentally and then by the doctors or whatever they tell you to do. But don't let something like diabetes set you back and keep you on the sidelines when we've got a guy sitting up here that's got a pump that runs 600-pound steers every day and makes a living at it. It's mentally, it's your diet, taking care of yourself, but there's nothing that stops you when you want to do the thing that you love to do, and it's steer wrestling for him.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've always, all the schools I've done, no matter what obstacles are in your life, you just learn to overcome them, and that's what I did, and it's paid off well, not just for my steer wrestling, but for my family as well.
What I've noticed is you did not use the diabetes as an excuse not to excel, and that's
we hate excuses up here.
It's maybe a good excuse, but it's still a freaking excuse.
Guys,
Yeah.
we had a question come in that was right there. Somebody had texted to us since you were talking about the
Texted?
steers.
Yes,
Texted,
okay.
text to us.
Texting?
Yeah, you're a texting, aren't you? There was we were talking about the pen of steers, and Joe, the same thing with the calves. How many pens of calves?
Same thing. Calves and team roping steers, bulldog and steers, they all go 3 times. And usually the first pen, they set them to go the first and the last. That means they'll go 4 times. The other ones will just go 3 times. The only time you'll ever see anything change is sometimes in the tie-down roping, they want the better calves to the end, so they'll change pins on them. But other than that, it'll stay.
Question: whenever y'all ran the steers prior to the rodeo starting here, you had one of the steer wrestlers hurt his knee. I mean, does everybody bulldogs throw these steers down, catch them?
Last year right here. Last year we had the same thing right here, throwing him down. Hurt his knee before it started too.
Okay, so you went through that. Got another guy hurt this year, and it's going to affect you big time the whole week. Is that stupid?
Stupid is as stupid does.
I honestly think if the ground was prepared better, it's pretty wet and pretty heavy when we do that, just because they have to get it that way to make it right for the rodeo. But it's just a little sticky, and those steers, they haven't been ran on the ground much, so they're bucking and holding their heads funny, and it's a recipe for disaster.
Well, should there be other guys that didn't qualify for the finals
Guinea pigs.
run the steers and throw them down and y'all watch, or is that not the same?
I think you want the guys that are running them, the guys that qualified to run them, because you want the best throwing them down. But those steers, we actually had at my house 2 pins of them. We had 8 guys that made the NFR come out and go through them and pick them, and that one pin probably didn't need to get thrown down. The other pin, I'd say, tipped over at least. But these guys have a bunch of adrenaline going through them. Tyler's is his first year making the finals, so he was bailing in to throw them down. They want to get in the middle of them and get their feet dirty in that Las Vegas dirt for the first time.
Well, and that was my question, and I didn't have to text it. Because I really wanted to know, because if they'd have said, let's go check these bulls out and everybody get on them and ride them, before the rodeo started, I'd have said bull.
It's funny that I actually opted out this year too. I opted out and let them young kids throw them down this year.
That's what I was going to say. I guarantee you don't see guys it's happened to before. One year, Tiny Kids there, Mike Johnson, guy's leg broke. He ropes with a broke leg rest of it. So I'm going to answer on your deal, too. I think it's about half stupid. Once they come out here and you get them set, if you can do them at homes, like I tell them about the calves. If you tie them down at Mesquite's, where we used to do it, tie them down and get them ready, bring them out here, go on and see what happens, but don't eliminate yourself practicing.
I mean, just a legitimate question, because, when you qualify, you just like Tyler, you work your tail off all year long and know you're excited. You have to get out here for, early, and, you wind up, I know at 4 o'clock this afternoon, there wasn't anybody involved with the rodeo that wasn't thinking, my God, it's finally about to start. I just hate to see guys get hurt unnecessarily, especially whenever we're not there to watch.
If we'd have filmed it, it'd have been okay. We'd have had Rex.
We appreciate so much this man. You can tell he's a family man, and you can tell just by listening to Luke Branquinho what a class act he is. He's got a future as a ventriloquist, too, I might say. That's it's starting out really well. 4-time world champion Luke Branquinho, would you pay him off, please?
Thank you, guys.
And Cade.
The whole world
Jay's dang near as big as I was in 1972.
Well, that's because gas was free then.
Luke Branquinho, a great guy, and so is this next young man that's coming out here. And
We'll be the judge of that when he comes
we'll
out
see
here.
what
What
happens
he
and
has to
how
say.
rough he is on
Yeah.
these two guys. This is a 3-time world champion in bull riding. Donnie thinks he's going to win his 4th, and I do too, but I'm anxious to see what he has to say about it. It's a tradition here. He always comes on the first night that we do this show and spends most of his time ribbing Donnie, but we're awfully glad he's here this evening. 3-time world champion bull rider J.W. Harris is here tonight. J.W.
J-Dub.
Hi, J.W. How are you? Well, since you placed tonight,
Well's a deep
I'm
subject
gonna be
for
easy
such
on
a
you.
shallow mind.
I'm gonna be easy on you. We don't want to get in that contest now. Don't start. Don't start.
I am so
I'll throw
glad
Donnie
he's
in
sitting
by the
over there
heels.
by Joe.
Since you placed tonight, we're gonna let you have your little comment, okay? But we expect first tomorrow night. Deal?
Sounds good to me.
J.W. is, and I mentioned Donnie. Donnie is your biggest fan. You know that as much as you guys go back and forth. I think he's going to win his 4th world championship in the bull riding, and nobody's pulling for him more than you, Donnie, even though he's chasing your 8 titles.
You know, that doesn't matter. There's a lot of things that I can say about J.W.
But Willie,
I'm actually
really
gonna be nice and serious. You know, I don't know of anybody that I've seen in the last 15 or 20 years that has the ability to ride rank bulls on a consistent basis. There's nobody that has any more of the right stuff. And by right stuff that I mean, you know, there's a lot of guys that can ride a rank bull sometimes. I mean, if you're in the right spots, you got a 50-50 chance of riding them. But when circumstances start dictating what they're going to write about you the next day in the newspaper, when circumstances dictate how much money you're going to win on that particular ride, all you got to do is make the whistle. And you've been beating your butt up and down the road. When a guy can go out there and go round after go round after go round after go round, show you that he's in control, he's comfortable in his own skin, knows that what he's doing is correct for him. You just don't get to see that very often, and J.W. Harris has more bull sense than anybody I've seen since me.
J.W., I want to...
That's a long, long time
that's
ago.
27-cent gas, man.
I want to say this is as healthy as we have seen you at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo.
That's almost as bad as me having to say I was wrong sometimes. But
Never happened. This is... how are you feeling coming in here this time?
I feel good. It's, you know, I've went to more rodeos this year than I have in the last, probably, I guess, last 3 years. You know, I went to 115 rodeos, I think, is what the rodeos that I showed up and got on bulls at. And, you know, and that's, you know, I told my wife, you know, because they go up and down the road with me, and I said, just be ready to live in the RV for, you know, for yeah, just be ready to live there, because we're rodeoing, and you know, I just, the last 2 years have really left a sour taste in my mouth and a big chip on my shoulder, because I know deep down inside that I ride better than second place, and that there's no reason that I shouldn't be, you know, a 5-time world champion by now. And so, you know, that's really driven me this year. And so, you know, it's I told Boyd last year after the NFR, I said this will be the last time you see me finish second place.
Well, and when you let one get away, that really is a bad taste, doesn't it? And I thought, I mean, he says it all the time. We talk to him about it, and me and him talk about it. When you let one get away and you know you should have won it, you're not going to let that happen again at all if it's your choice.
Well, you know, I mean, I showed up and I rode like a girl last year.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
I said
that's just plain and simple.
It
That's
is, but
the
you
truth.
know it, you know. But
And,
that's the stuff you were talking about. He's
that's-
got the stuff to know that.
That's the bullshit. No, he has what it takes to be honest with himself, and most guys, it takes way too many birthdays to finally get to that point, because winning world championships, and it don't matter if you're riding bulls, roping calves, wrestling steers, at some point it is a mental challenge to be able to get up and do whatever it was that's necessary to win. And J-Dub and I talked, and I don't think it was last year, because last year he had a legitimate excuse. He was hurt. I mean, you know, when you can't shut your hand.
That was in 2009, Donnie.
Well, I'm getting old, so
And I
what the
still
hell?
won the world that year.
You know. Now, but when you go and you put it all out there and you win second, and the way we're talking, we're not diminishing the guys that won the world title last year and the year before. Has nothing to do with that. It doesn't demean them at all. I asked J-Dub, I said, well, do you think you laid it all out there? Did everything you could do? I said, how many rodeos did you go to that you counted? And he said, 92. And I said, and they'll allow 125. You know, he knows that. Should have been, and had a couple of different things gone another jump or two, another direction, he'd have won it anyway. So there's nothing ever definitive about it, but the bottom line is just what he got through saying. You either did it or you didn't. He didn't, pissed him off, ain't gonna happen again. And those other 14 guys, they're not gonna give him a pass to, you know, blow through them.
Just because he wants it. He's gotta
just
get
because
it. Yep.
they're not reading his resume, but he has it to do, and he knows he can do it. I do too. You do too. And so the rest of the week, what is internally, you know, are you feeling? How do you feel about getting on? I mean, are you anxious about the next go round? Looking forward to it? Don't really care? Just run them in? What is it?
I think this year this is the best I felt, not physically but mentally, going in the finals. You could run King Kong or whatever. I don't care what I'm getting on. There's 9 more bulls left, and I'm gonna go out there, and my goal is, if you want to go ahead and, you know, say, well, you'll be 4th, but you're gonna ride all 10, but you're gonna be 4th for the rest of the round, I'll take it. But I'm going to win every round, every night. And if I've got Joe Blow or King Kong or whatever, it's a bull. They're all the same to me. I don't care if he's the bucking bull of the year or if he's a nice little spinner. They're all the exact same to me. They stand on 4 legs and eat grain.
You know, we did a pick. We had show, Anthony Lucia has a show over there, and there was 4 of us doing our picks and stuff. And they all picked, and I was the last one. So they all picked J-Dub, you know, because the lead. Everybody said the lead. He's got this much. And they come to me, and I said, I'm going to have to say J-W. Well, they all said, well, the lead. I said, it has nothing to do with the lead. To me, J-W's mental game wasn't maybe last year what I thought it was coming to be, because I thought he was so far ahead of him mentally that was why he rode. He was going to win more titles than anybody else right now. This year, just from what the little bit I've seen him been around, his mental game's up. And if your mental game's up, how much did you win when your body maybe said not, but your mental game was at the top of the deal? I could care less that you had a $1,000 lead or $30,000. I picked you because I thought the mental game this week, he would stand above the rest.
Well, your mind can talk your body into doing a lot of things that it shouldn't do. And I feel like, you know, maybe my riding style is probably not the prettiest, not the best. I don't care about that. It's just staying on, getting the job done. And, you know, I feel like my mental game is what makes me what I am in the bull riding deal, because I don't show up to win second or third at rodeo. I show up to win the rodeo and ride the bull that I'm getting on. I don't care, you know, I show up and I'm going to win first in my mind.
Let's take a look at you in action tonight, because Donnie and I talked about there were some great rides tonight, but I thought nobody was in more control and more relaxed, and just if you've got
I
that
swear,
guys, yeah.
After the first turn, JW could have looked up where I was up there yapping and could have asked me, how do I look? I mean, he rode this bull so stinking
I wanted
easy.
to, but I was afraid my dad might slap me somehow, some way.
Do we have his ride there, guys?
Let's watch
from the scene? Let's
JW
take a
ride
look at
it.
it.
You know, I just like JW finds rhythm right out of the gate.
And I've seen that bull 100 times, and that's him. He's going to turn back, spin, and you know. And I was just sitting there, just because he just was bouncing the whole time, and I just kind of just sitting there, just waiting for him to find his deal and just do what he was going to do. And you know, it was, to me, that was the.
Kind of like
that's the first.
You and Jackie just
perfect,
sitting out on the veranda having tea.
Yeah.
I mean, it was actually that easy.
It was that if you were to hand pick a bull for your first bull to get on the NFR, that's the one you want to start with, because he's just going to let you go out there and have fun and ride bulls the way that you're supposed to, and make it look pretty.
Run that back one more time, guys. Watch the first turn and see how he's going to be into his hand further than he needs to be. That's the only thing JW had to be careful of, was overriding this bull.
Yeah, and I knew he's going to have that little funny corner coming around there, and he caught me kind of getting over a little too much, and I just kicked loose with my outside foot and stuck it in the shoulder and let him pull me around back to the outside, and then, you know, like you said, it was a cakewalk from there.
You know, and I got to say this, and you can answer it. You know, you hear all of the, you know, we've talked about, you know, JW is the only guy that ever said out loud that I'd like to win 9 world championships and beat your ass, is what he said. And you know, you can't believe how much I appreciated that, because, you know, I could see myself, you know, 40 years ago saying the same thing about breaking Jim Shoulder's record, you know, and my dad and Jim rolling their eyes and going, God, he never shuts up, you know, and, you know, and I mean, and that sort of thing. You
Can't
know,
imagine that.
But I think that when he said that out loud to me, that meant something to me. That told me that J.W. Harris is really comfortable in his own skin, and everybody out there knows that that's really kind of hard to do, because we spend an awful lot of time wondering what we think other people are thinking.
Well, I'm glad you made time for us here tonight, JW, because I'm looking forward to the next 9 rounds.
I hope I don't see y'all again.
Yeah. We hope you win every single round, and that's always what I say when I call these guys. I hope you can't come, but I'm glad you were able to come tonight.
What's this? Are you trying out for Duck Dynasty or something?
No. Well,
It's
you know,
winter time.
it was no shave November, and then I just been too lazy to shave it off.
It's working. It's working.
You're just mad because you don't look as good as I do.
Can't grow one.
Would you pay this man off? 3-time world champion J.W. Harris.
Y'all go ahead. It's the best bull rider in the world right here.
He's my hero because he don't wear a helmet.
He's just the best bull rider in the world. You know, well, all them helmets do is keep you from getting superficial injuries, and if you think you're supposed to stay pretty all your life, then
Don't ride bulls.
Don't ride bulls.
Don't ride
It's
bulls.
stupid. You know, I mean.
But let me say this, Donnie. The other night when they gave Donnie the award, and Terry saw the film that they had put together, it had a lot of Donnie Gay's rides in that. Most of them were in black and white, but it was they were some.
And that cost $2 back then if you bought the picture.
But all kidding aside, they were outstanding rides, Donnie. I'm sure you remember every single one of them, but
Well,
they were
let
great.
me say something on that,
great
because
bull
I read
rides.
a deal the other day. You know what's more impressive to me than anything else? Because, you know, if you ever played football or you ever rode or rodeoed at all, you're going to do it hurt sometimes. You should sometimes sit down with this guy and let him tell you how many times at the national finals that he was either hurt when he got there or got hurt early in the national finals. You have to have a presence of mind like no other to be hurt, and I'm not talking about a little ding here and there, to be really hurt and to win under pressure, much less doing it riding bulls. That, what I read the other day, meant more to me than anything that you've won and you've bragged on yourself about and all that. Because when a guy can do that many times hurt, that says something about what's inside, and that's your heart.
Well said. Yep, I was proud of you the other night on that. Let's bring these other two gentlemen out here. We've got time for them, and I'm so glad. And I said this the other night. I did a little interview with Bob and with Donnie and with Joe, but still, these guys add color to this wonderful picture of rodeo, and they're the best at what they do. And it's you
comes on
guys.
in.
Bob Tallman and Boyd Polhamus right here.
The BBs are here. The BBs are here.
Let me brag on Bob just a second here, because we were talking the other night. Bob, 25 times Bob announced the National Finals Rodeo, and he's not doing it this year by his choice, not by other choices. He decided to pull back on this time, but 8-time PRCA Announcer of the Year, and I just want
Bless
to
you, thank you.
give him a hand. Yes,
ain't
Bob
over.
Tallman, yeah. No, it's not over.
Church ain't over.
No. And Bob, just why did you decide to do that this year? I think people would like to know, why did you take yourself out of the running? No, the short version here. Just
I didn't want to do it no more. Listen, I'm 66 years old. I have, Donnie and I remember 1972. We talked about it the other night real well.
He had a crown of his hat was this tall, and the brim was this big, and he had on a string tie. Watsonville, California. I'll never forget it, Boyd. I promise you.
Donnie walked up, and he was that tall. The hat on his brim was that wide. He had the cutest little pop belly. His crown was about that tall. And he's the ridingest sunbuck I ever seen in my life. And he made me the braggingest sunbuck that a guy could ever be.
We did have a lot of fun.
Listen, you got to understand some things. I have been the most blessed human being that ever put on a pair of boots or strapped on a hat. All the different kinds of hats. I've been seeing more pictures of me back in the 70s than I've ever seen. I had a waistline. And I got one now. Yeah, I got a waistline. It took me 66 years to build this pot belly, and I'll be damned if I'm going on a diet and going to lose it. They feed good. This Boyd gaming outfit. They feed it, both of us, don't they?
Hey, I'm telling you, I told them it's kind of like Tom Murray said. They said, what do you do with that weight set now? Nothing. I hate it.
Yeah.
For 20 years, I fought it every day.
Yeah. And I have got to do everything that there is to do. 1972, I worked for $15 a day of packing flanks. You were out there beside me in a 3-piece suit making Marty Wood wine. And Buster Ivory and Clement Spadden paid me $15 a day. And we went to work at midnight every night, and we'd sort, and we'd be there at 5 in the morning. Normally hadn't gone to bed. We drank a lot of iced tea at night and get up in the morning, and we'd feed that livestock. And then we'd go to bed and get up, go to the lingerie show, and then take a nap, and then get ready, go back to rodeo, sort and load and flank, and then we'd go home. Okay, that was 1972. Throughout all of those years, I either had a job announcing the rodeo, the radio, the television, the rodeo, radio, and television, and I've had a chance to reach and tell the world of my love for the rodeo business, which has not diminished 1 iota or 1 ounce. I have shared with this man the last 25 years of me and him battering and beating each other up in a love affair to do the best job we could do. And a couple of years ago, I kind of got off in the high technology world, and I'm going to go to work at Fort Worth, at Houston, at Red Bluff. I'm going to Cloverdale, British Columbia, to Bishop, California, to the Mule Day show. I'm going to go to that little thing they got out there at Reno, that little amateur rodeo they got up there in Canada. They call it the Calgary Stampede, greatest outdoor show on earth. I'm going to go to Strathmore, and it goes on and on and on. I ain't going nowhere
And he's
except I'm
retired.
going harder, and I'm doing this thing. Y'all don't know this, but when you come out there at night, I'm watching you.
His security cameras are. Let me just say this, though, Bobby T., and I told this to both my partners here because I told them we're going to hear this a lot. And I said when we hear it, it's going to be 100% true, but it's not a critique of you, Randy, or you, Wayne. But they're going to say these words, and no truer words have ever been spoken. The National Finals Rodeo is just not the same without Bob Tallman.
That's
Amen.
right.
That
Amen.
is correct.
It's this rodeo is the epitome of all dreams come true. We've been standing back there watching you talk to JW. The mental game.
Amen.
Whatever else it is. It's a mental game what Boyd and I do. And we're going to go do this in a little hay barn down there called Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. You want to talk about a rodeo that puts some pressure on you? There ain't no thumbs at you, no fingers pointing at you. But we're on Fox Sports television every night live from before we start till the minute we finish. Then we go to studio when it's over. This man and I will prepare equally as much every day for 20 days to face 60 to 70 to 76,000 people every night. You want to talk about an opportunity, you know, where you get high, what makes you feel good. This is a place.
You want me to answer that or keep quiet?
You're at
Are we
that.
talking about 70s, 80s, or 90s?
No, Joe, no way.
Hush, Joe.
It's that blur thing that you still think you got that. Yeah, but you'll get over it. Your time's coming. The thing is, you have a life to do what you want to do with it. And we've all decided how much we're going to do this for God, how much we're going to do that for money, how much we're going to do the rest of it. I'm at the point in my life where I've faltered back and forth a time or two. My best prayer angel is sitting right in the front row, okay? I know what I have done. I know when I did it right, and I know when I did it wrong. I know what I want to do now, and if it's based on God's will and world and work to shove me in there when I haven't got an ounce of strength left, that's everyday life. And I'm only good for 24/7. So hang on, because in the next 10 years, oh, I am so excited to do what I'm going to do. And rodeo is still going to be a major, major, major part of it. I love rodeo, and I love Jesus Christ.
There you go. There you go. Well, and Boyd, thank you for saying that, because we do miss you. We do miss you doing that, and so we're glad that you're here. So
I got a tinge or two I missed tonight, and I'll tell you what it was. It's when he'd lead a line that I'm used to following, and I'd have went, whoom, pow, nailed it right there.
Yep.
Okay, when I work with Randy, he'd say something, I'd follow it. He didn't follow it. I work with Wayne Brooks, I'd say something, he'll follow. You've got the three guys that give the most in the right place. And they don't hire the people here to announce the rodeo. There's a lot of guys can announce this rodeo. Do y'all have any idea what it takes to manage 18,000 people? The infrastructure of this thing is so immense. Where I'm working now with the calves and steers and the bucking horses and bulls and all the trailers and trucks and people and horses, there's $35 million worth of assets out there. It is so crucial to understand the infrastructure of this rodeo. Everybody says, that's Sean Davis, he'll ride your ass till you can't whip it no more. I'm going to tell you something, it takes a Sean Davis. Because if you don't do what he has done, what he did today, what he did 10 days ago and 2 months ago, and what will happen the next 9 days, this thing won't happen. An hour and 56 minutes, and we buck 15 and run 15 in every event.
And I appreciate you saying everything you're saying, but that's the mechanics of it, Bob. That's the mechanics, and your cameras are watching all of it. That's his point. He's in the security camera business, and he is providing security cameras for us to watch everything. But here's what I don't think you truly understand. to every fan that comes here, there's an emotional experience to the National Finals Rodeo, whether their guy wins first or bucks off or doesn't tie his calf or throw a steer as fast as they want. Nobody in the history of professional rodeo, with all due respect to the Clem McSpaddens and the Cy Tallings of this world, has ever captured the emotion of a world championship event like the National Finals Rodeo like you do, okay? And even when there's times you're saying stuff that we go, what the hell did he just say? We're also going, God, I love the way he said it, okay? And that's what I really do believe that this event misses without Bobby T there. And again, it's not a critique on Wayne. It's not a critique on Randy. It's a critique on the fact that you can't take this ingredient out of the cake and still have the cake. And I just feel like, to a certain extent,
You got the cake, but it sure doesn't taste as good, does it?
I don't care how pretty it may look. It's just not the same. Yes, it's the National Finals Rodeo. Yes, world
Go
champions
ahead.
are on the line.
He needs another round of applause.
Yeah, and so that's, and that's what I think this event is going to miss. As much as I'd like to think there are times that I can bring some of that enthusiasm and some of that emotion there is only one Bob Tallman. There is only one Elvis Presley. There was only one Rolling Stones. There are only one George Strait, right? There are certain guys that have certain gifts that, while Alan Jackson's good, Toby Keith is good, but there's only one George. Bobby T. And anybody who tells me that I'm wrong, I'll call them a liar to their face. Bobby T is the voice of professional rodeo. He supplied it to us. He fed our fan base what they wanted to eat, and we're bigger and better because of him, and this rodeo will ache without his voice in that building.
I agree with that. Yep. Well said, Boyd. And Donnie, let me say this, because Donnie and I have worked together for 27 years on television, and I credit Donnie with not what he did in the arena, what he has done out of the arena on television. Nobody's better at what you guys do, and nobody's better on television than Donnie and Joe at painting that television. And they have broadened that audience and Donnie and I have done it together for 27 years. People have tried to keep us apart and put us apart, but I credit Donnie.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys know what I'm talking about, but I really credit Donnie with.
Well, and the thing that while one guy's getting accolades and so somebody else is stepping back, but I'll say this, Boyd, you came along at the right time, because Bob Tallman has been the voice of the National Finals Rodeo since the 70s, and what you did was basically re-energize Bob Tallman and make him, kick his own self in the ass and move it up a little bit, another notch. You've brought out the best in him, and I think we've enjoyed over the last 25 years the best announcing at the NFR. And Randy Corley is a close friend of mine, and I really like Wayne Brooks, one of our Boyd Gaming ambassadors, won the Announcer of the Year. They're all really good. And I'm going to enjoy this National Finals just as much as I did the last one and the one before that. But I still like
Hey, you know what
Bob
else?
Tallman
You know what else? You should
at the NFR.
be down there because I'm in the right by the box, and I'm in the trench with the guys, and I've won a lot of money with these two guys. And you ought to hear the contestants down there that miss the build-up, call you out. If you're roping like shit, he will tell you on the microphone. You look like terrible. You think you might can catch one and tie one down? Well, we hear that stuff. And you ought to heard tonight all the guys down there. I wished I'd had a tape recorder. The things that they said, that this duo, and it's nothing like you said against Randy Wayne or anybody else, but this duo right here, since I've been around, me and Boyd came along about the same time. It's an unbelievable boost for a contestant to have a duo like this selling you in their spot. These are the best two guys that have ever worked together, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Go ahead. I got a question. We're going to wrap this up pretty quick because we've got a lot of stuff to give away and want y'all to help us. But give me your take on first performance 2013 NFR.
I think Joe hit it with JW's intensity and his frame of mind. No one's ever doubted his ability, but you can't doubt the ability of any of the 15 people in any one of the contests here. But you want to find out who the champions are? You show me that person that wants it more. You show me that person that wants it more. The top 4 calf ropers didn't place tonight. Tomorrow night, that speech he was talking about, Cody Ole's going to get it. Hey, they're saying you're an old man and you're washed up, son. That's what Cody Ole's going to get tomorrow night. I'm going to fire his ass up, okay?
You know, and we hear that. That's the bad thing. If you're really at the top of your game, you hear all that.
Yeah, well,
and when
he's
you
at the
hear
top
that,
of his
it
game.
brings it to the top.
He beat Tough in the 10-head match roping in San Angelo a month ago, okay? This is a 10-head match roping. Don't give up a calf, okay? So who stands out to me about intensity? J-Dub. Did he win the round? No. But this man is sick of finishing second. He finished second to Teal. He finished second to Proctor. He had a goal to surpass him in the number of world championships. And his age, he's 27. It's bullshit for J-Dub. He's got to ride these bulls, okay? He's got to get busy. But his mental attitude right now is...
He's got plenty of time.
Right. The other one, last runner on the ground, okay? And we tell this joke every year. Yeah, the reason you cremate barrel racers is because there's never any ground good enough to bury them in, okay? But Sherry Cervi, who won more money than Trevor Brazil over the 4th of July. I don't know what got into Stingray and her, but let me tell you something. There is a focus on her face. There is an intensity in her level of competition. And you know what? Is that taking an ounce away from Michelle McLeod? No, that girl's mounted and she's going to be a force. You wait when it's done. But at the end of the day, when I start looking at this thing and I start going, hey, who's got the mindset? Because again, ability is really equal. It really is out here. I mean, there's so many guys with a great talent and great horses. And they're going to get on great horses or bulls. Who wants it the most? Watch them ride, watch them prepare. I'm just a touch worried about Casey Field. He's won the last 2, okay? He's set records as he went. Has he lost a little of that fire? I don't think he has.
Will Lowe will tell you he's okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you dot your eye for him. But but at the end of the day, the 2 guys that stood out to me tonight, the 2 players that stood out to me tonight, are going to be Sherry and JW. Because they got it on their mind, and when those 2 champions get them on their mind, Sherry Cervi, guys, you beat this road for how many years? How tough is it to go? Him and I go to 1 rodeo a week. I don't care if it's the 4th of July, the 3rd week of July. These guys go to 7. That road will founder you and kill you. So if you really want to go and campaign for a world championship, you got to have a fire in your belly to just survive getting through July and August, okay? You just got it. And then to get here, and to have that white coal fire burning just as hot as it was when you started in Odessa, that's the difference between champions and other players. And to me, those 2 people showed up as people with fire in their belly.
Final word, Bob.
I can't follow that, but he's got the fire in his belly because he's in the game. As a viewer tonight, my event, I used to say this, and we're in Oklahoma City in the first few years we come to Vegas, that when the calf roping came, everybody went to beer stand or went to potty, okay? I'm going to tell you the event here that has as much attention to it, and I see less people now. We sat up there tonight and got to watch it. And I watched the people to see how many people got up and moved when the calf roping come, okay? And I'm getting better at saying tie down, but it's still roping calves. This was the first pen of calves tonight. There's 2 more. Then they're going to figure out which one of them pens they're going to rope in the short round. I watched one guy tonight take advantage of the best thing he had was the horse he was on, Shane Hanchy, okay? And he rolled one wrist in his first eye. He rolled his wrist. He didn't spin it and catch it. I have watched the calf roping for 40 long time years. This is the event that's going to get somebody's attention when you see what Tough Cooper does, because tonight Tough Cooper was on Valium. Cody Ole was kind of like lethargic. He just didn't do it. You watch him fire him up. Benji's music, him telling it's electric time, and getting him, and you got to cuss him a little.
He wasn't sweating.
Got to fire him.
He was not sweating tonight.
He rode in there tonight.
He's
like
sweating
sweating.
tomorrow night. I'm going to tell him he's fat.
And if he's
old,
watching
and
or
everybody
gets to
thinks he
hear
can't
this,
Give
rope.
these guys a hand. Will you give all of these guys a hand up here?
Hey,
We're
Dan.
so glad. Yeah.
Do you think we can get these chairs lowered?
No.
No, you're not genetically made to have your feet hit the floor.
J-Dub, what did that little beer bottle remind you of?
Okay.
I feel like I'm on a handicap commode.
It's a good thing Las Vegas. It's a good thing Las Vegas isn't like the circus and pass a rule that says you must be this high to host a show.
Let's give away some stuff.
Let's give these guys a hand. Thank you for coming to National Finals tonight, and stay. Remember, we'll be here tomorrow night. And also, if you stick around for some prizes, but upstairs, the Buck and Ball is going on this evening, and we hope that you go up and take part in that. Donnie and Joe will be down here signing some autographs. But officially, for the folks watching on YouTube, thank you for coming, and good night from National Finals.
What are we giving away first?
They're going to run their deal.